All right, welcome everyone. Today I want to talk about maintenance on your motorized bike. If you're going to ride these bad boys here, you're going to wind up doing some welding, or wishing you had a welder, or you're going to need to know someone who knows how to weld. You want to routinely check your frame for cracks. These bicycles were never designed for motorized use. Period. We are pushing these things to the limit for motorized use. I want you to understand that, and its safety is a big concern. You want to take time to regularly inspect your frame, because if you want to ride safe. And there's a reason why I got this welding clamp on the frame here, and that reason is, let's see if it'll focus, that right there. I kind of pushed it in. It wasn't all the way through, but the metal is like less than paper thin there, and I, through using a wire brush, pushed it in. The steel is pretty thick here. I was almost convinced to just let it go, but no. The foot pedal on the previous bike setup had been rubbing against it, I suspect, for years, and wore that metal away, and it was kind of thin. And I guess just me leaving the bike sitting outside collecting rust finally did that part in. So I'm going to fill that in with a MIG. But there's some things that you want to do on your bike routinely, okay? These bikes were never designed for motorized use, period. Now this is a 1940s bike, and it's made with heavier steel. However, if you look right here, there's a nice piece of angle iron welded on this here. Yes, this is a cobbled up hack job, but you know what? It's lasted for probably about 3 years now. The frame cracked right there. Now I have this motor mount here just welded on to the frame. That might have had something to do with it. But like I said, when we're motorizing these bikes, we're asking it to do a job that it was never intended to do, and it's not 100% suited to do. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of you want to go fast, want to go tearing ass through the neighborhoods and the like, but you really need to keep safety in mind and routinely check. The down tube here, they're prone to crack. I've seen the seat tubes crack here where the motor mount is. You really want to check it out. If for those of you who got the Nel Luso or the Panama Jack that has the rack welded onto the back, where the welds go in here to the seat stay. This is the seat stay. This is the chain stay. Seat tube, you've got your upper tube, and there's now I'm making it up here. This is just a crossbar, whatever. You got your down tube. Check all of your connections where your top tube mounts to the steering tube. The down tube mounts there where it mounts at the bottom bracket. There where the seat tube mounts to the bottom bracket. Where your seat stay is welded to the seat tube. Everywhere. Inspect every inch of this here. If this here was to rupture and just break while I'm tearing ass through the neighborhood, I'm going to have a safety issue. So I'm going to get the MIG welder going here, and I'm going to fire it up and patch this hole here. You want to be real careful, particularly if you're going to try to use a flux core welder on a newer bike. The frames are made of very thin metal, and a flux core welder is quite powerful. You have to have the right touch in order to do this. I'm using a MIG welder here. It's a different process, and I'm really taking my time. Now this is sped up, but I'm doing just little bits at a time on the outside of the hole, worked my way in, filled it in, and there you go. All right, so we should be good to go on this bike here. I was able to fill it in, get it nice and thick. It's probably stronger here at the welded area than any part of the frame. However, with what's called the heat affected zone, I might have added another problem to it. You want to be careful when you're welding things up. If you get it too hot, you're going to weaken the metal around it. It's not the weld that's going to be weakened, it's the surrounding steel that's affected by the heat, hence called the heat affected zone. You want to routinely inspect things like your chain tensioner, make sure your engine doesn't have any wobble in it. You want to routinely take your wheels off. I'd say every 3 months, take your wheels off, grease the bearings. There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing how to grease the bearings. Check it out. One thing you definitely want to check on these bad boys here is side to side play. As these bearings kind of wear in, the wheel will get a little wiggle on it. So if you can grab your frame, grab the spokes and pull on it, and you notice your rear sprocket here, your pedal sprocket has a little side to side play on it. When you pull it here, that means that your cone bearings are loose. They need to be tightened up. Whenever you do that, go ahead, take the wheel off, grease it, get things set back the way you should be. You'll be running down the road. Hey, I hope I helped you out with your maintenance on your bike. Remember, ride safe, wear a helmet, wear your protective gear. I know you think you're bulletproof, but hey, people do get hurt on these things here, and they're a lot more dangerous than a motorcycle, okay? That's my little preaching for the day. Give me a thumbs up if I'm helping you out on the videos. Down there, there's a button that says subscribe. I want to thank you for watching.